You Can Become a Hero by Orphaned Account on AO3. Episode 4, Chapter 3, Mirrors Don't Lie. The injuries from the woman's handbag left no visible wounds. Dabi had checked once they got to Hawks' apartment, making sure to check everywhere the bag hit. It really did feel like the lady stuffed it full of hardened cement so she could go ham on whoever she saw from her stupid crime shows. Grumbling under his breath, he washed his face in the sink, sinking back some of his hair from his face before heading back into the living room. Hawks was eating some of the leftover pizza, settling down a few blank pieces of paper and a pen down on the coffee table. Dabi headed over to grab the remote, ready to sit back and watch more TV. It was a luxury, in his opinion. The TV was large, much larger than the one at the bar. The bar TV also only was used to contact Shigaraki's weird dad or play the news. The news channel always cut to static at the best part, which infuriated everyone's investment to no end. Dabi turned the news on, ready to see if the league was going to be up to anything, but the report going on was about some rule trying to be implemented into the schools. The moment Dabi set the remote down, a red feather floated over and turned the channel. "The fuck is your problem?" "Watch something else." Hawk shrugged, scooting the paper and pencil over. "And while you do, start drawing what you want for your costume. Or write what you want, it doesn't matter." With that, the hero walked to the dining table and sat down, beginning to start working through his fan mail now that he had a few days off. Or an entire week. No one was certain when the bosses would allow Hawks back, but the hero seemed to know it would happen. Dabi sent him a little glare, then fixed his gaze on the paper. He never really was one for fashion. His villain coat was actually designed by Toga and Twice, except he decided to change their pink and purple color scheme for black and silver. It suited him. So keeping that color scheme would be a must. If it didn't mean he'd be beaten by more grandmothers, the thought made him grumble, reaching forward to snag the paper and pencil. In the background, some PBS kids show droned. Neither Hawks' feather nor Dabi's hand reached to change the show, too drawn into their work to continue further. Hawks managed to get through a handful of letters, setting them aside to be mailed. After stretching, he reached for the newsletter. He flipped them through, opening some. He took the time to read through them, expressionlessly before settling it down and putting his head in his hands. Dabi barely noticed it, only seeing it because the tip of his pencil broke. After a moment, Hawk stood and walked over to where Dabi was working. Is that your costume?" "Yeah, I think this is what I want." Dabi stared at the paper, unable to tell if it was something that'll work with him well. He'd half expected for Hawks to laugh and ask if he was joking, just like Toga and Twice had when he tried designing his coat. Maybe Hawks would take over like they did. Not that he didn't end up well for him. "It looks nice." Hawks hummed, nodding his head. "But I feel like I've seen it somewhere before for some reason. Did you base it off of a different hero?" Dabi stiffened, frowning a little as he put the paper away from Hawks' eyes. He looked at it a bit longer, then folded it and set it on the table. "It's nothing." Hawks didn't pry. Instead, he leaned against the back of the couch, gazed the ceiling. "So, next big thing. What is your hero name?" "Hero name?" "Yeah, like All Might, Midnight, Endeavor, Hawks. Everyone has a name." Dabi paused. "Your name isn't Hawks?" Hawks froze for a moment too, staring wide-eyed at the ex-villain. "Did you seriously think my parents named me Hawks?" "I'm fucking with you." He really wasn't. "I'll think of something. Give me an hour." So Hawks went back to work, setting the recent letters far from the pile he had established. Most of their afternoon was spent like that. Dabi watching TV and pondering stupid things, and Hawks working. Eventually, dinner came around, and Dabi ate some of the leftover pizza. Hawks settled for some food. A fan likely made that look almost inedible. Still, he ate without a complaint. washing the shower taste with tap water. It was peaceful, in a way. Dabi wasn't being bothered or bossed around like he had thought he would be after leaving the cell. He only complained that the bracelets on him felt incredibly uncomfortable, constantly weighing him down. That and the lack of smoke in his system. He'd asked Hawks to buy him some, but he kept quiet as he remembered the incident that morning. Hawks must have been an idiot and used all his money yesterday to buy celebration pizza for the two of them. As the show ended, Hawks' phone rang. The hero groaned, pressing the button. He answered. His voice became suddenly light and joyful. If Dabi hadn't seen his annoyed expression seconds earlier, he would have guessed that the young hero was actually happy to receive the call. Hey, what's up? Dabi couldn't make anything out on the other line, but paid keen attention to what Hawks was saying. Yeah, we've been working all day. Very strenuous. You wanted to talk to... Oh, okay. 1 second. Hawks glanced to see the scared man looking over at him, then tossed his phone over. It was a shit throw, but one of his feathers sprung to life and glided it the rest of the way to Dabi's hand. He looked at the number. It was an unknown caller. Frowning, he raised the phone to his ear. Hello? Toya. It was Endeavor. Dabi forced back a groan of his own. How has it been with Hawks? Fine. I heard about what happened earlier. Once things are completely cleared, it won't happen. Dabi felt like Enji was trying to comfort him, but it was off. The practice speech seemed a little too, well, versed. Along with that, it was out of character for Enji to care. Enji must have noticed how he wasn't getting a response, so he cleared his throat. Fuyumi said you weren't busy either, Enji mentioned, but she wanted to give you her number in case you wanted to call. I can give you everyone's number if you want. So Dabi spent the next few minutes writing down all the numbers. In the end, he got his mother's, Natsuo's, Fuyumi's, Shoto's, and then Enji's work number. It was hard to keep track, as the man split the numbers out rapidly, but he didn't want to ask him to slow down. After all the numbers covered the once blank paper before him, Enji changed the subject. Hopefully, you both are doing well. If anything comes up, call me back with this or my work phone number. Dabi debated asking him to bring cash for him and Hawks to live off for the week, but ended up just saying goodbye. Hawks might not have appreciated the shitty gesture, and Dabi could do without cigarettes and alcohol if it kept Enji a reasonable distance. He set the phone down on the couch. Good family chat? Hawks asked as he settled onto another envelope. Something like that. Dabi turned towards Hawks, waving his hand a little to get his attention. What about Insen? Insen? What's that? I don't know. Dabi stated dumbly, scratching the damp skin on his neck. It stung, and pieces of skin began to flake off and fall to the couch. If he kept it up, he knew he'd begin to bleed. Like incense as an incinerator? Burning the trash right off the streets? I mean, it is creative. It sounds a bit villainy. What about Flamer? Dabi gave him an annoyed look. Or, like, Change Heart? That's even worse than Flamer. Well, I mean, it suits you. Change of heart. Change Heart. The villain turned hero. Hawks exclaimed, though Dabi didn't look pleased at all by the idea. Dismissing the hero, he turned the TV off and pocketed Hawks' phone. While you think about that, I'll be in your room. Don't bother me. Hawks didn't follow as Dabi closed the door behind him. There was no lock on the door, so he left it as it was and looked around the room for the first time. It was in a state similar to the rest of the apartment. A bed with blankets strewn about, a dresser with half the drawers open, the closet littered with dirty clothes. There were 3 cups on the bedside table, one half filled with water. Dabi sat down in the sheets, laying back as he opened Hawks' phone. He was surprised that the hero didn't rush in to take his phone. He probably didn't have much he wanted to hide. Or he didn't even notice his phone was missing. Dabi rolled to his side as he thumbed through the contacts, saying all his family members were already on the list in the phone. His fingers hovered over the call button to one of them, but then it settled to the text message option. He sent a quick message to one of the numbers, then exited out to wait. He never really was the type to snoop, but seeing as he was with Hawks for the time being, it would be good to collect information. Especially since it was clear while he was in jail that Hawks was not a part of the League. Not that Shigaraki would think at this point, seeing as Dabi was out and about. Then again, it was best he thought that. When Dabi returned to the League, he had a feeling that there was a secret he'd keep quiet about. After all, his issue wasn't with Hawks. It was with Endeavor. Mindlessly, he scrolled through the pictures in Hawks' gallery. There were multiple of cute fan mail he got, or a fan doing stupid faces with him. A few were of him with pro heroes, or him pestering Endeavor. There were a few that seemed out of place, though. Some of alcohol littered all over his bedside table, others of injuries he must have gotten on the job. He didn't want to know why there were pictures like those saved amongst all the happy pictures. He continued to flick through them, stopping when he saw one of himself. He opened it. It was taken 2 months ago, though he couldn't place when it was occurred. It was him staring out into the night sky, the city lights in the background. Smoke was leaving his parted lips, blue eyes shining, as he stared off into something that was out of view of the camera. Lights glinted off the staples in a way that made him look good, which was strange. Any positive word to describe appearances never fit him. But he actually liked the picture of himself. He closed out the photo, having seen enough. Instead, he looked to the apps on the phone. There were lots of restaurants and fast food apps for coupons, a few stupid phone games, and then Yelp. Skipping over those, he went to the internet and scrolled through the hero recent tabs. Toya Todoroki found dead, League of Villains Dabi, recipes of KFC at home, how to fix an oven fire, where to buy a new oven, nearby KFC locations, how to be a good roommate, how to respond to hate mail. Dabi closed the browser. Just as he did, he received a text from the message he messaged earlier. He opened the text to be greeted with a simple, "Welcome back." His lips twitched as he buried his chin in the section of blankets. It smelled weird, but in a good way. Not rancid or metallic. It smelled like muted lavender mixed with some smell of dryer sheet. He should have asked to stay in Hawks' bed last night. It seems more comfortable than the couch now that he had a chance to lay in it. I think it's sweet that Hawks, you could tell what happened and why Hawks is desperately trying to find a KFC nearby. So I like cute stuff like that. I like how he was trying to be a good roommate. It's the fact that he knew that Toya was not gonna go with, Hawks. Also, a hero name for Dabi. I've actually never seen many hero names for Dabi, but I want you guys to put in the comments what the best hero name for Dabi you think is. Like, for example, I know Bakugo, everybody loved Ground Zero. Ground Zero was, like, the popular one. Ground Zero was, like, the popular one before, he had an actual hero name. Like, I can tell when a fic is written, depending if it says Dynamite or Ground Zero. Either way, I recognize it. And there is some fics I see out there that have Atom Bomb as his hero name, which is also really cool. But so far, literally all I see is Ground Zero or Dynamite, right? Occasionally, you see Atom Bomb. I've actually never seen any other than those, at least not that I've, capped. Those are the ones that I've capped. I've read so many fanfictions. There's literally no way I did not see another way that, oh, no, wrong. There was one where he had a Greek god. I forgot which one. But he and Izuku were, hero duos, and they had Greek gods as, their hero names. And, together, they were the Wonder Duo. Anyways. I want to see your guys' ideas for hero name for Dabi. And if you don't have any, and you literally just think he should just transition with Dabi, put that in the comments too. I want to see that. Okay, I don't have much to say, so as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server, merch shop, and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.